Abantsundu Sabelani, Abantsundu Sabelani, Abantsundu Mamelani. Oh, ibolengos bathathi sizwe sifile sizwe. Abantsundu Sabelani, Abantsundu Mamelani.
Mutukio Mutukimang utwakai uyaka Mutukio Mutukimang utwakai uyaka
Okay, sister Rangchela. Ucabangani ngalendlela esidila ngayo ngalesimo sabantu abamnyama?
Uguti, we say black is beautiful, black lives matter, and that we are black and proud. Not only to sympathize with our destructive existence in the anti-black world, but also to delay our duty to end that white world. These chants of validation are, I guess, a social protest against the white world to see black people as worthy of their tolerance. It's like African people have developed an unnatural and defensive consciousness about their identity within the anti-African world that openly chooses to destroy them. What stands between Africans and their act towards restorative justice is the Afrotoxic idea that we're all human, that we need to save the human race and that we can't destroy it any further.
Okay, I know ngiyakuzwa sister. But why manje? Why not from the beginning of our so-called humanity? After sonke lesikhathi labantu basigqilaza basenza izisebenzi zabo. Yeah? Why?
The only reason they promoted us to being human was so that they could limit the threat of our retaliation and protect themselves from their inevitable destruction. The opportunity for Africans to suddenly become human was never about the African, but wealth and security for the non-African, which could only be obtained by using the African.
I know ngiyakuzwa kodwa what does it mean mabathi Africans are human ngoba sonke lesikhathi bebasilaqaza basicindezela basiphathisa kwezilwane kodwa they say we're part of the same humanity. So who is African? Who is human? Ubani umuntu?
Umuntu, umuntu, ngabantu. Umuntu, umuntu, ngabantu. Umuntu cannot be separate from her society, in which her relations with that society are grounded on cultural ethics. Akukhoneki ukuba umuntu uyedwa ngoba umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Mebe ngekho abantu uwedwa futhi ungasebenzisani nabo, awusiwona umuntu. Humans, on the other hand, are natural individualists, indifferent to the existence of ethics and morals, especially because their relation with others is not a priority to their existence. The human effort is put into the realization and attainment of the needs of the individual, regardless ukuthi ziza kanjani. Whatever immorality in the pursuit of the individual need will be followed by the justification. I'm only human after all, simply because non-ethics is a norm in human culture and consciousness. This is human freedom, the freedom from moral constraints, in which the only limit is yourself. Whites maintain that they humanized Africans by forcibly using them to build their so-called civilization. To non-Africans, the more civilized you are, the more human you are. It remains so.
Okay, sibeka up ke thina as African people nalabo kuthiwa my human.
Nowadays, there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of blaming. And Ubuntu means to feel your shadow and not to throw your shadow onto other people. That's Ubuntu. So what does it mean? It means if you're feeling prejudice or you look at someone and you don't like the color of their skin and it brings up memories or it brings up hatred, and you find yourself going into a cycle of stereotyping, be aware, watch carefully, because your next action, you could be reacting, you could be bringing forth some kind of dark emotion and throwing it onto that person, and hence the cycle of hatred continues in the world. And feel our own prejudice or our own judgments or our own anger, whatever those shadow parts of yourself are, and not judge yourself. Just feel it, and then all you have to say is, wow, I'm feeling these emotions. And I say to you, welcome to the human race. What do you do with these difficult emotions? Do you act? Do you react? Do you attack someone else? No, that's not Ubuntu. That's not being humane. You feel these dark emotions, these difficult emotions. Breathe them in and just say, I've got anger. I've got jealousy. I've got prejudice inside of me. The next thing you do is breathe in and out. Feel the prejudice, feel the anger, feel whatever it is. Breathe it out through your feet. And then look into the eyes of the person who you have impressions of, whether they are negative or positive. Look into the eyes of that person who you maybe have stereotypical thoughts about, and see their humanity. See their humanity and listen to what they have to say.
The descriptions I've provided of Abantu and humans is proof that the two are not one thing, but rather an unavoidable contradiction. Just the misidentification of Abantu as humans, one will have robbed Abantu of their essence as Africans and will have rejected their potential contribution to the liberation of Africans. When Abelungu, or rather humans, came to Azania and conquered Abantu, they proved their humanity by land theft, brutal murders, segregation systems, and exploitation.
Okay, I know ngiyakuvuma sister. No, ngiyakuvuma. Kodwa ke umehluko kuphi between into abayibiza i-human consciousness nale ndaba yethu yokuzazi? Bengicela ungicacisele sister.
Manje, human consciousness could never be translated and elevated to ukuzazi komuntu, because human consciousness is a biological matter. It is limited to the comparability of humans and animals, and how one is more or less advanced than the other. This is where the concept of human survival arises. This is what grounds individualism in humans or humanity itself. But this isn't the case in ukuzazi komuntu, in which the survival of umuntu kusebantwini. Unlike human animals, abantu abafani nezilwane, nezenzo zabo futhi azifani nezilwane. Yiko umuntu makengenabo ubuntu abizwa isilwane. Ubudlelwane nabantu ubo obuyenza umuntu. Without this relation, one cannot be umuntu, futhi ubuntu bomuntu cannot be validated. The process of self-knowledge to Abantu does not start and end with umuntu eyedwa. Even in their individual self-knowledge, umuntu mele azi imvelaphi yakhe, starting with lineage, clan, culture, and their overall history. Umuntu uma sekazazi ngalo hlobo, only then can they advance indawo yabo emphakathini nasemhlabeni. This is validation ukuthi umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Umuntu can never be separate from other individuals.
So uzama ukuthi abantu ngokubona babalulekanga, badinga abanye abantu ukuthi babaluleke na sister.
Cha, abantu ngokubona babalulekile. They do have individuality, but there remains a difference between individuality and human individualism, of which is in constant conflict nobuntu. It is natural that when your existence is not related to the existence of others, that you become individualistic, and that other existence of other individuals is a threat to you. Individuality can only be realized and valued among other people. Individualism can only be realized against other people.
Okay, I know ngiyakuzwa umcacisele sister. Kodwa ngisasenombuzo, ibekaphi i-spirituality ne-religion?
Ukuzazi komuntu akupheleli emndenini, emphakathini nasemhlabeni. Ukuzazi is fundamentally spiritual. Ukuzazi komuntu is linked to the respect of what we can call the African Trinity, being Abaphansi, the living dead, Abasezweni, the living, and Abaseza, those still to come. It is the spirit that links these three. Without the spiritual union of these, umuntu akakhoni ukujula futhi nokufinyelela la afuna khona. This relation among this trinity is again evidence that Umuntu akakhoni ukuba yedwa. It is the same spirit that keeps Ubuntu. Ubuntu, which according to human consciousness would be an impossibility. To find yourself as Umuntu, you have to know the past, be conscious of your own presence in the present, and how that presence will impact the future. In this anti-black world, the soul or spirit of African people is only acknowledged when they entertain their masters, but it is dismissed as the essence of their being because it will lead to the affirmation of their superiority to those who do not have the spirit. Often people speak about African Christians and they wonder why, even after lifting of a few oppressive laws, they have stuck to the religion that was forced on them. Apart from the therapeutic effects that they need from the anti-black world, it is because they need to be in touch with the spirit and they might not have learned any other way due to their misidentification. If humans ever claim a deity, there is no way that they serve the same God as Africans. We are different beings. With the contradiction of the two natures of our existence, our gods are at constant attack. To black humans with one God consciousness is the God that gave the so-called Afrikaners our land the same God of the Africans. The importance of the Christianization and Islamification of Africans was for the Africans to lose a connection with what remains their highest power. Both are attempts to destroy isintu ngumuntu babantu while realizing even greater humanism.
Oh, okay. Sengiyabona. So mandulo ngitshele ke ubudlelwane babantu nabelungu bobunjani?
Abantu babahlangana nabelungu bababone njengezilwane simply because unlike abantu abanawo umoya, they lack spirit. This is seen in their historical actions and present actions. Without spirit, one cannot be ethical or prioritize ethics. It is important to note that abelungu are not referred to as abamhlophe because they are not abantu. Abanawo unembeza noma umphefumulo. Umuntu omhlophe can only be referred to a person of African descent with lighter skin. Izimpendulo zisemalimini wethu njengabantu.
Okay, angitshele ke kukhona umehluko between ubuntu ne-human nature.
Umehluko mkhulu. Ubuntu is founded on reciprocity. Human nature isn't. Human nature has been defined by humans as inherently evil, individualistic, and selfish. To practice Ubuntu towards humans is to dishonor and invalidate African culture because it requires some sort of exchange. And this exchange will be one-sided as the selfish human animals will have nothing to offer, simply because akusibona abantu. The South African colony allowed whites to be legally immoral in 1994. Ubuntu was taken out of an African context and placed in a foreign order under the Constitution of 1996.
Afweer. Dis God om te sien hoe ons saam oud word. Ek het daarom nog my hare. Al is dit 'n bietjie gryser.
Still today, Ubuntu has failed to be the essence of the colony's existence due to the adoption of humans emhlabeni wabantu and the conversion of abanye abantu to black humans.
Manje lobuntu abakhuluma ngabo post apartheid kusho ukuthini kahle kahle?
The colony created a new identity outside Abantu, using the essence of their very being, Ubuntu. a strategy made for the people of African descent to prove ukuthi Abantu by tolerating and forgiving humans for practicing their inherently evil human nature. It was this process of humiliation where the godless men of Desmond Tutu, through the TRC in '96, managed that humans adopt black humans in order for them to secure wealth and security after their political power was shared with the African National Congress.
I have fought very firmly against white domination. I have fought very firmly against black domination. I cherish the ideal of a new South Africa where all South Africans are equal.
Often people have a problem when Mandela mentions that he has fought against black domination. But he is right. Instead of fighting against white domination, he fought against the potential of African domination. The African National Congress killed more African people than it did their enemies, if it ever. And it continues to do so. This is in the name of black humanism and its cultural misidentification.
Oh, sengiyabona. So kahle kahle inhloso yabo bokukhanda umlungu omnyama, a black human.
Obvious, ngoba black humans were manufactured and endorsed by Abelungu to assist the original humans to retain their global and racial power. The black human is required to detach his African spirit from himself to be worthy of his position and assist humans in the destruction of Bantu in exchange for individualistic validation. The black human does not necessarily need a relationship with humans to achieve this. Just his journey to individualistic validation and the assumption of human culture dismisses you from being more too. Black humans are also trapped in foreign worlds seeking racial justice and racial equality that could never be attained from humans. And no coexistence between the two will be peaceful lest the African serves a subservient role. We are seeing this in post-apartheid South Africa. The economic system, education, the social world require just that.
Alright. So thina abantu ke sithini equality?
Akukho sokusho ngoba equality is inherent in Ubuntu because of the requirement of reciprocity. It is only an external phenomena in human life because the concept is foreign, sought for, and never could be attained due to the nature of humans. Power to humans is wealth and domination. Amandla ebantwini is moral authority. There is no possible reconciliation of the two.
Ngiyakuzwa siloku siyaringa mfethu siloku siyaxoxelana manje ngitshele sister ukuthi sisusa nini le mpilo leso iqala kanjani khona elinye ikhehla la ngitshela ukuthi sibasabani abelungu asishone khona impilo
Hayi asibasabi enhle siyabafuna. For us to make a revolution, we have to emphasize to the people the contradiction between Umuntu and a human. The absent distinction of the dissimilarities has led to the delay, diversion, and failure of countless revolutions. These two are antonyms. The refusal to understand that the relation between Umuntu and a human are irreconcilable is the rejection of nature itself. For a revolution to take place, we need Bantu and not black humans to fight against Abelungu sibuyise Ubuntu bethu. Umhlaba wethu uzobuya ngale ndlela.